I took my twins to Las Vegas. Here's how it went. When I managed to get tickets to see the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere, I knew I had to make a trip out of it. So I planned a 3-day trip to Las Vegas with my twins, where we meet up with my sister who lives in California. It turned into one of our favorite little trips together, but it definitely didn't start the way we planned. The morning of our flight, we woke up to find out that the train line we normally take to use to get to the airport was completely shut down. For a few minutes, it felt like the whole trip was falling apart before we'd even left home. Thankfully, there was another train line running, so we quickly changed our plans and still made it to the airport with plenty of time. Since there weren't any lounges we could access in that terminal, we grabbed breakfast at Dunkin' and waited for our flight. The flight itself ended up being really easy. The kids split their time between the iPad and the in-flight entertainment while we worked through the lunch we'd packed from home. Before we knew it, we were landing in Vegas. After picking up our rental car, we headed straight to our hotel. Unfortunately, our room wasn't ready yet, so rather than sitting around waiting, we grabbed a snack and headed out for something I'd planned specifically to help us adjust with the 3-hour time difference. We drove outside the city to do a little stargazing. It ended up being one of my favorite moments of the entire trip. Getting away from the lights of the strip and watching the sunset in the desert was such a peaceful way to start our vacation. The next morning, we returned the rental car, but since the Welcome to Las Vegas sign was on the way, we couldn't pass up the opportunity to stop for a few pictures. Once we got back, we spent a few relaxing hours in the pool before moving over to the Palazzo, where we'd be staying for the rest of the trip. While exploring the Palazzo and the Venetian, we noticed the Backstreet Boys experience was open with almost no lines, so we popped in for a few photos and a little shopping. Afterwards, we walked along the indoor canals before stopping for dinner, where the kids ordered milkshakes that were almost bigger than they were. The next morning, we started our day with Starbucks before taking an Uber to explore more of the strip, beginning around Paris. We took our time walking around before heading back to the hotel for another afternoon at the pool. After lunch, my sister and I squeezed in a quick workout at the hotel gym before rewarding ourselves with pina coladas. Back in the room, everyone got cleaned up and ready for the evening. The kids loved relaxing in the giant tub while we did our hair and makeup before the show. We kept dinner simple and ate in the room before making our way over to the Sphere. This was the whole reason we planned the trip. As soon as the show started, my daughter looked completely shocked by how loud everything was. Thankfully, my sister was able to grab earplugs from guest services, and after that, both kids settled in and spent most of the concert singing and dancing along. By the end of the night, they were definitely getting tired, but they had an amazing time and were still talking about the concert long after it was over. Before we knew it, it was time to head home. We checked out of the hotel early, grabbed Starbucks for breakfast, and headed to the airport. Since we had a little extra time before boarding, we stopped in a Priority Pass lounge for a quick snack, filled up our water bottles, and relaxed for a few minutes before our flight. The flight home was just as easy as the trip out, but our excitement wasn't quite over yet. When we landed, we ended up running to the air train and barely made our train back home. Somehow, everything lined up perfectly, and before long, we were back home with my husband and the little ones. Looking back, this trip wasn't really about Las Vegas. It was about spending a few uninterrupted days with my twins. Between stargazing in the desert, swimming, giant milkshakes, and exploring the strip, and singing along to the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere, we made memories I'll always remember. Sometimes the best trips aren't the ones where you do the most, they're the ones where you simply get to spend quality time together. Please like and subscribe to follow along for more.